Hey everyone, welcome to the Small Screen Couch Commentary Podcast, where we watch your favorite TV shows, give you our thoughts, and ask for yours. I'm Alex.
And I'm Billy. We're excited to watch and rewatch the best TV shows from start to finish and hope you're ready to take the ride along with us.
We'll talk about the best characters and their stories, reveal some hidden gems, and look for you to do the same.
From sci-fi to comedy, drama to anime, we've got it all covered. So grab your favorite snack and we'll see you on the couch.
All right. We are here at the finale of season 1 of The Boys on Small Screen Couch Commentary.
How about it? We got Alex to watch season 1.
You know, you had been giving me shit for years. And some other people were too. Other people were recommending it.
But I'm the most important one.
And don't get me wrong, I knew that it was a good show. I heard nothing but good things, but I hadn't gotten around to watching it for whatever reason because there were just so many other things. Like in comparison to even say 8 years ago, there's just so much more content coming out every week, every day. Sometimes it seems as a new show.
Yeah.
And I just hadn't gotten around to The Boys, but I'm glad I did.
For you guys.
Well, for me too. It's a good show. I mean,
for you guys. All right.
It's awesome.
He's selfish. Billy Butcher over here. Freaking selfish.
I am not. I shouldn't say I'm not selfish. Everyone's selfish.
Yeah.
Human beings in general are selfish. That being said, crazy finale.
Yeah, buddy.
I knew it was going to be big. I didn't know it was going to be this big.
Huge.
Pause.
Huge.
But yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
So many big things happened. So many things that I didn't see coming happening.
Important deets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you know what? I would like to get into it as quick as we can. What were you snacking on?
So this time I was snacking on some brownie bites.
Brownie bites.
Yeah, kind of like the little mini ones that they'll come in like, I think it's, I don't know, it's Little Debbie or somebody. They have like chocolate chip muffins, blueberry muffins, brownie bites.
Yeah.
Little packs.
They're yummy. Nice Swedish fish.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a top tier gummy, in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it might be my favorite, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Spoilers.
If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. You have to watch the finale. It is crazy.
Yeah, we won't do it justice explaining it to you.
Exactly. Our words, while they are going to be
beautiful, phenomenal,
definitely not going to do the show justice. You have to see what we're talking about. So go back, watch that, come here, hang out on the couch with us.
Welcome back.
Yeah, exactly. The magic of editing. So we're going to just run through the show, and then we'll come back and just discuss some of the points throughout it. So
what'd you rate it?
Oh,
yeah. My man, he's just too excited.
I am. I gave this an 8.8.
Oh, 8.8.
Highest rating so far. Last episode was the highest rating. This one beat it out. 8.8. I don't want to get into 9 territory yet because for me, on the 10 scale, 10 doesn't actually exist, and 9 is just like,
I'm a 10.
9 it's perfect. It's perfect. Down to the last minute detail. That's a 9.
That wouldn't be like a 9.9.
Well, just in that territory. 9 and above.
Gotcha.
9 and above.
Okay. All right.
Perfect or damn near perfect.
Yeah.
But 8.8 I think is a fair score in my book. What did you rate it?
8.9. I wanted to creep in the 9 territory. I did, but I just feel like there's probably some more.
Well, you know that there's more.
2 seasons more.
And I'm thinking once we get into some of these other seasons, while they're old for most of you, they're obviously brand new for me. I think we'll get into 9 territory then. I hope we get into 9 territory.
This show's so good. Even for me rewatching it, I'm super into it. It actually was really hard for me to not watch episode 1 of season 2 after watching the finale here.
I'm not gonna lie, the same thing. Like the way it ended, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to know what's coming up next. I have to know where this goes, just because I did not see the two parts of the ending. I
Yeah.
did not see coming at all.
What I love too is I think 2 or 3 episodes back you asked, is it going to close out like because they weren't sure if there's going to be a season 2 or not? Was it going to have a solid ending or was it going to be a cliffhanger?
Right.
So I'm glad I was waiting. I was like, I can't say anything. So it was finally
Right.
we're here.
Well, and just to briefly touch on that, I think the way that it ended, I wouldn't necessarily say is a cliffhanger, but I think if it is, but I think if somehow, and it would have never happened, but if it somehow gotten to the point where it's like, okay, well, the show's not doing well, we're not going to renew it. I think it could have ended the way it ended and not been awful. Some shows that end on a cliffhanger or
Right.
a certain way, even like series finales that were planned out and stuff end, and people are like, well, that was trash. I think even if this somehow ended at season 1, it still would have been okay.
Okay.
Wouldn't have been phenomenal.
You would want a season 2.
Absolutely.
Right, but
absolutely.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
All right, jump into it, big dog.
So if we touch back just briefly on the last episode, the soups are not just in America now.
No.
The soups are in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Terrorist organizations, as we found out from Nakib.
the
Which I don't remember.
Captain.
Yeah, did I say that his name meant the captain in the last episode?
I don't remember.
Anyway,
sorry.
He's out there in the world, and so Madeline, the last time we saw her was at the CIA, and they were basically telling her like, hey, essentially we're going to shut you down. Nakib came into the picture, blew up that whole situation.
Literally.
Yeah. So this episode starts off in the Middle East somewhere, assumedly, and it's like a drug warehouse or something. I don't know if it's heroin or cocaine or some sort of drugs are being packaged for distribution and whatever. And there's some like
SEAL Team 6 back at it again
type dudes out there, and they're moving towards this warehouse to go and infiltrate and shut it down. Well, out of nowhere drops in our good buddy Homelander.
Your good buddy, not my good buddy.
Sorry. Yeah, my good buddy.
Yeah.
And he just goes, makes short work of the whole place. Just laser visions everybody.
Brutally.
Destroys everybody.
There are guys running away. He's getting them. Yeah. One guy thought, as this is going on, he like pokes out and gets ready to fight again. And it's like, dude, you should just hid. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Takes all the people at this compound out. They're done. Essentially making the military obsolete. Like they didn't even need to go in. Homelander didn't even break a sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Goes in. That's that. The government is essentially now pretty much authorizing soups to be in the military. They don't come out and clearly say that, but this kind of is like almost like a test, maybe.
Yeah.
But the Secretary of Defense for the United States, he goes and confronts Madeline, saying the Compound V experiments were not good, and if I had it my way, you guys would be shut down. But given the situation of things, we got to go with what you guys have, because you're the only things that can fight the soups in other areas.
Yep.
Now the boys, who were pretty much maturely given authorization to go after soups, which we see after Billy shot Starlight.
Yeah.
They are now being considered fugitives.
Yeah.
Vought in whatever deal that they made with the government, they're saying, okay, well, we're going to do what we're going to do, blah, blah. These guys, though, you've got to capture them.
Yep.
So they're now really, for sure, on the run. No one is there to save them. The CIA can't save them. No, their favors are all.
Susan can't help out. No.
Done.
Yeah.
Starlight, as we had discovered from the previous episode, she now is kind of torn, finding out that she was essentially an experiment.
Yeah.
She doesn't quite believe it 100%.
Not yet.
And she goes and confronts her mother about it, but she's just wondering, what is my life, essentially? I'm trying to figure things out.
Her whole life was a lie.
Pretty much. So she goes to her mom. They have a bit of an interesting conversation about her whole situation. Uh, Billy and Huey, they go on a little trip to
A little adventure.
yeah, to figure out what can be done because since there's no one else that can help the boys, Billy's got one last trick up his sleeve. I'm not going to reveal quite yet who they go to see. We'll talk about
It's
that.
Donald Duck.
But but as they're on their trip, the rest of the boys, Kimiko, MM, and Frenchie, they do get captured.
Yeah.
Poor
Poor Kimiko.
Yeah. I want to touch on that because she had
Yeah.
what seemed to be like a nice thing happening, and then it all just went to shit.
Yeah, I felt bad for her.
I did too. But the boys get captured, and they are kind of, not going to be. They don't see any way out of things right now. They are kind of thinking, we're screwed. There's no way out of this.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going to happen. Then Homelander, his relationship with Madeline, it gets tested here.
Sure does.
Gets tested.
Takes
here.
a turn, maybe.
A little bit.
We won't talk too much about it right now.
Touch on some things here. I don't want to give too much away.
Don't.
No, I'm not going to, because I want to get into the meat of it. And
don't say it like that ever again, please.
I want to get into the meat.
No. Okay. Anyway, go.
But yeah, then towards the end of the episode, we finally get a confrontation between Billy and Homelander.
Wow.
And from like the whole episode was kind of ramping up, and then when it gets to that point, it's just like jet fuel into the atmosphere.
Alex's heart was pounding.
It was. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
yeah.
I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, holy crap.
What's about to go down?
Each time some big thing happened, I was just like, I could not have predicted that. Like, I kind of pride myself on being able to predict stuff sometimes before it happens when I'm watching TV shows or movies and stuff.
One of those guys.
Yeah. I don't generally talk about it out loud. I don't like to talk while I'm watching TV shows.
You're the guy at the end who's like, just by the way, I knew that was gonna happen.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So really he never knew.
Or at the very least, I'm telling that to myself in my head.
Yeah.
Did not see the ending to this show happening.
I did. No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah. Let's go back then and try and just piece by piece go through a few things that we thought were important here.
Yeah, well, I think that you got to talk about the first scene where Homelander comes by and it's the same shit with him. He goes by and they're like, okay, thanks for helping us out, Homelander. And he's like, you guys are the real heroes. They're actually a little confused when you see their faces.
Yeah, I don't think that they knew he was coming.
No, and I don't think they're probably some people who probably don't, their jobs are on the line.
Right.
So they can't be soldiers anymore because they don't need them.
Well, and here's the thing, but
you're the real hero.
If the whole plot of this season was Madeline trying to get Soups into the military for the money and this and that, whatever, and part of getting that to that point is other countries or other terrorist organizations having Soups, why wouldn't you just still have the regular military guys to handle the other regular military people?
But why would you?
I don't know. I mean, to still have them have a sense of purpose, I guess.
Yeah, but if you have a Homelander who can just go kill humans.
Yeah, but what if the other countries have a Homelander then? We've seen Naquib. He's a guy that can explode and still survive and whatever. What if someone else has a Homelander?
Yeah, but then Homelander will fight Homelander.
Right.
But what I'm saying,
if Homelander's fighting Homelander, and the other countries might not give up their regular, non-suit people.
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to just? Homelander's busy fighting Homelander, and then the regular.
They'll just send Maeve. That's the whole point, right? They want to make the soldiers obsolete. They make all the money, and then in the end, the military or the government probably saves money by not having to pay anything for soldiers.
Yeah. Gonna take a quick pause here.
Daddy break.
Live stuff happens when live things happen.
Daddy break. Might have, where's the marker? Oh, there's the marker. Back to the Billy show. All right, the better show. Drink some water. High quality H2O.
All right. Sorry about that, folks.
What were we talking about?
The military.
Military. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I'm a soldier, you know, in the Army or the Navy or, you know, whatever.
It's a little weird
it
for
is a
me
little
because
weird.
now what do I do?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like some of those guys would still need to feel a purpose. So I think you still keep the regular military around. Maybe you pare things down.
Is this a world where they care about how people feel? Not in the boys' world.
No.
This is a government and companies, so they might keep a few, but you're not going to have as many soldiers as you did in the past. And you have all these. They have way more superheroes in America than they do anywhere else in the world because this is the first.
Know of.
This is the first we've seen a soup outside of America.
Right, but obviously we know that there are multiple terrorist organizations that are getting soups. Kimiko was part of a terrorist organization.
Right.
So how do we know that multiple other countries don't have multiple soups?
I mean, well, Vault does.
Oh, that's true.
So,
true. But okay, but I'm saying if I'm the government, I'm not going to just get rid of all of
not all
regular military guys because I don't know how many soups the other countries have. And Vought isn't going to go to the military and be like, yo, they have 10 soups over here.
Right.
Because then that gives the jig up that they put them there.
Well, no, I get that. What I'm saying is you're probably not keeping anywhere near as many as you have.
I guess.
You keep soldiers. Yeah, you'll have soldiers. You'll have surveillance people, you know, all that kind of stuff. But you're not going to have as many because you have Homelander, who right now is the most unstoppable soup.
Right. Right. I don't know. Just an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Mind you, when he's going through and just laser visioning everybody, I mean, it is like people are getting just sliced in half, and it's you're seeing everything. You're seeing the blood flying, you're seeing the guts flying, and I just wonder, is the comic this way as well? I've never read the comic.
I would bet.
I'm wondering if it's as gruesome as it is. I could see a comic or a graphic novel being that way. I don't know that I've ever seen another show
like this
or even a movie or anything, quite like this. Like even rated R movies that are gruesome, I'm sure there might be some out there, but I've never seen them.
Yeah.
This is one of the most gruesome, violent things I've ever seen in a movie or TV show.
I agree.
That isn't like a real life thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you only see this kind of stuff on like, I don't know, rotten.com or something back in the day. Like the internet was a wild place in the 90s.
Rotten don't even know what that is.
Oh, trust me, you don't want to.
I don't. But yeah, so
yeah,
we have this situation. I also want to go in. Now, do you want a small screen scoop for the meeting with the defense secretary? Or do you want to wait till the end?
Wait till the end. Small screen scoop's always at the end.
All right, then we'll wait.
Yeah,
I've got one for you.
So let's touch on that though, because there was an interesting thing there in that meeting with Madeline and them. You know, she basically was just saying like Lockheed Martin, which for those who don't know, they do a lot of different stuff, but a lot of stuff with the military, especially with the U.S. military, whatever. Yeah. They do other things too. But you know, she's asking them what is their number one product, and he says like some missile or something like that, I think. And she basically says, well, that plus like tanks, guns, this and that, lists a bunch of different weapons or whatever. All of that is now ancient technology and not going to be worth it because we have soups.
Yep.
And
they're obsolete.
Yeah. And basically says like we don't need any of that. And if you're going to try and put that against other soups, like the only thing that you can combat those soups with are my soups. Like I have the number one product now.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have to come to me.
Which they agree upon, like keeping Compound V a secret.
Right.
All this stuff goes down in this meeting because of that. It's a quick meeting. It's not like it doesn't feel important, but it's super important to understand
Absolutely.
like everything that we thought Vault was going to get caught on last episode.
Yeah.
They're free from it. They don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, which I mean, I think it also just goes to show how calculated that Madeline is. That she plans things out, and even stuff that happens on the fly,
she's able to play with it. Yeah.
Right. She's able to think, well, what's going to be the best possible outcome for me and my goals in this situation. So yeah, Madeline, she pretty much salvages the whole situation. She's no longer being arrested by the CIA. And
are they still going to put Compound V in babies?
So I don't think that they touch on that.
But I would assume the government's going to be like, no to that.
I don't know. I mean, I would think that they would be. I think they say, okay, well, no, you can't continue doing this. But on the other hand, if they do, what happens as soups die, as they get old, as they retire and whatever? Like they kind of almost have to let,
because they keep bringing soups into the military.
Right.
Yeah.
If other countries now have the ability to make soups, they have to continue to allow them to make soups. So they don't explicitly say, no, you have to stop.
No, they didn't say anything about that. So that freaks me out a bit. It's a little weird.
A little bit. I do want to touch on too. We had mentioned earlier that the boys are on the run now.
Mm-hmm.
Susan, the deputy director of the FBI, the CIA, she's communicating with Billy and basically telling him, you guys are screwed. I can't do anything else to help you. I can't, do anything to Vought. Essentially, she's now also become powerless in the situation.
Yeah, she's basically like
literally minutes before, not minutes, the episode before, she's seemingly like the white knight that saves the day and is bringing down Vought.
Yeah.
And now she, can't do shit either.
No, I think it's hilarious because I think she says like, you guys are on your own now. And Billy just goes, all right, well, I'll talk to you a little bit when you call me back. He hangs up and the two guys go, all right, we're on our own.
Yeah. Billy's definitely trying to make it seem as if the conversation ended well.
Yeah.
And, she had already hung up at that point. And Frenchie and MM, they're like, yeah, we should split up.
Yep. We're done for it. Yep.
Yeah.
Which cracked me up because Billy, again, trying to lie, make sure everything's okay. But they know him too well. They're like,
clearly they understand that, they need to keep a better eye on Billy. And obviously they were right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little crazy that things seemed like they were about to be totally fucked for Vought and for Madeline.
But now the boys are totally fucked. Yeah.
Than the position they were in before.
Yeah.
And as a result of all of this, Madeline gets a little bit of a visit from somebody who we've never seen. There's a new character I forgot to mention here.
Oh, yeah.
We finally get to meet Mr. Edgar.
Yeah, so they're at a party, I would assume celebrating the military deal. And Mr. Edgar is played by, I can't remember his name.
Giancarlo Esposito.
He's so good.
Dude,
he is so good.
He's a great actor in everything that he does. And that was another surprise. I didn't know he was in the show.
I did.
Well, clearly. But yeah, when I saw him come on screen, I thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I hope we only get to see him for literally like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If that. So I'm hoping we get to see more of him moving forward. But he essentially is congratulating Madeline on everything.
Yeah, a lot of money came from the government for this.
I think it was something like $40 billion a year that the government was planning on spending with Vought.
Yeah. So she gets a little bonus. He writes down the numbers, slides across the table.
Right. And he pretty much tells her like, hey, you need to come to floor 82 and, just start
be with me on my day-to-day work. Basically
kind of seeming like he's grooming her to take his place.
100%. Yeah. Which she knows. She can tell by what he's saying that's what's going down. So she's incredibly excited.
Yeah. Now I do want to circle back to that later because when other things happen later in the show, I want to get your opinion on this situation looking on it back after another situation later. But yeah, so that whole situation seems crazy because now Madeline has accomplished her goal.
Yeah.
And she's gotten where she wants to be.
Yeah. It's also good to note in this party, Starlight is drinking like crazy, flirting with
I forgot about
a
that.
military guy or whatever. And
Yeah.
she even like tells him, because when she has a little O, her eyes glow up.
Which we do find out is true from
Episode 7.
Episode 7 with
Because
Huey.
Huey got her there. Good job,
Yeah.
Huey.
Now, you said she was drinking like crazy. I don't know if I saw her drinking.
But there was a bunch of empty glasses there.
Okay, is that
and
what
then
okay.
Yeah, and I think she had a sip or something of one of the glasses that was left. But she goes and throws up because she had way too much to drink. I think she also thought about Huey when she mentioned that.
Well, so that's my thing. Like, first off, she's back in her new outfit.
Yeah, the
at this
freaking
point. Hair's done up and whatever. She's flirting with this military dude. She goes to throw up. I wasn't sure if it was I didn't pick up on the whole drinking thing. I thought she left to go throw up because she was feeling disgusted with herself.
I think it was a mixture. I think it was the alcohol
With
and then
being in
that
a
thought.
suit,
Yeah.
with having to play her part here, with thinking about Huey.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it was more so that than being drunk or whatever, because immediately after that she seems normal.
She's okay. I mean, she seems tired, like you would be after throwing up, and her and Maeve have a nice conversation. This is where Maeve tells her, I did save those kids from that bus and my arm did break.
Yeah. She like shows her arm isn't like completely straight.
Yeah.
And she's like, you said the marketing people came up with that thing about me breaking every bone in my arm.
Yeah.
But it really happened.
Yeah. So again, this is a good scene overall. This party, I mean, I think it plays a big part in the show, but that was one of the nice scenes where it's like, okay, again, we're getting a nice good side of Maeve here. She's trying to, she even says, I should be the one that doesn't give a shit in the team or something like that.
Right.
She doesn't want Starlight to be that person.
Right.
Which is nice.
Now, there's a part that I want to touch on that I didn't go through in the full recap of the episode here, but I think is still important to set stuff up for later.
100%.
So in the previous episode, A-Train had held Huey's dad hostage momentarily.
Kimiko bucks him up.
Yeah. Hits him with like a pipe, breaks his leg, bone sticking out of his leg.
Oh, man.
Totally disgusting. But now he's kind of recovering. He's got like a cast on. He's walking around with crutches and whatever. And at one point, he's at a store where he is being watched by security.
Yeah, they're racially profiling him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the security guard doesn't recognize him. He's not in his costume or anything. He's just in regular clothes.
Got crutches.
Doesn't recognize him. He's not in his costume or anything. He's just in regular clothes.
Got crutches.
Right. And some other people in the store are recognizing him. And the security guard is just like, hey, I'm just trying to do my job. Just keep an eye out on everybody. And he's like, yeah, but you're only looking at me. He's like, do you not know who I am? I'm A-Train. And the security guard even goes, yeah, and I'm homeless. But then he comes to find out it is A-Train and he backs off then. But A-Train freaks out.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a turning point in his head because he's like, oh my gosh, like if I'm not A-Train, I'm nobody.
Yeah, because even in that store, he sees shoes for the other speedster he raced against.
Right.
And it's kind of seems like he's on the up and up now because A-Train's on the down and down.
Right. Right. So I just wanted to touch on that moment because it plays a little bit of a role later.
Yeah.
Because A-Train's out of commission and he's realizing I need to get back to being
A-Train. Yeah, not some random guy. For show.
So while everything's happening, all these things are going on, the boys are truly on the run. I mentioned earlier that Billy and Huey, they go to see somebody. And I don't want to reveal that yet, but I want to touch on a part here where Kimiko, MM, and Frenchie are at their safe house.
Which is a motel.
Right. And, they're just trying to figure out what their next move in. And Kimiko is in the bathroom. And MM is upset because he's like, somebody else, you're not the only one that can use the facilities here. But we see that she's kind of trying to figure out a couple of things. Like she starts combing her hair. She's washing her hands,
Using
you know,
soap,
she's
yeah.
using soap. She's trying to,
Just trying to clean herself up.
right, be normal, because the whole time that she was imprisoned, she was probably not able to bathe or do anything, and she still hasn't talked really.
No.
She's let some grunts out and stuff, but that's about it. Um, but she's kind of fixing herself up, and it's nice to see that she's getting to a point now where she doesn't have to be on alert and think that everyone's out to get her and then everyone's trying to hurt her, and
Yeah.
she's
To
becoming
honestly,
more normal.
yeah, to be a normal girl. That's what
Right.
she and I think that's why I was happy for her in this moment. She's
Absolutely.
like cleaning herself up. I think she probably took a shower.
And it's making her happy. Like, you can see
Yeah.
that as she's doing each of these things, it's putting a smile on her face,
Right.
you know. So it was just nice to see her have a positive thing in life rather than being experimented on, rather than being part of this terrorist organization.
Be in a fight, be
Yeah.
dirty, grimy.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So that's all nice. But all good things come to an end.
Yeah, she opens the door. Frenchie's like, "Oh, you look beautiful, Moncour," or whatever, which
yeah.
means my heart, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't think I knew that.
you do now.
Okay.
Yeah, mi corazón.
That's Espanol for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, you know, I got you.
But yeah, as she opens the door and she's talking with Frenchie.
Smoke grenade.
Yeah.
And well, Frenchie and they try to stop the smoke grenade from like really covering up because it might be gas. I don't know.
Right.
But
no, it definitely is.
They're grabbed right away.
Yeah.
And
well, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, then Kimiko tries to get out through the bathroom window and tries to fight off and then hide. And this is where I get sad because one, this came to an end quickly for her, but now she's on the ground, dirtied up again already underneath the car.
Yeah, she like looks at her fingers and she sees it's like greasy and dirty. Whatever. It's like it's kind of reverting back for her now.
Yeah.
At this point. So I want to talk about this part because when the smoke grenade came in, you didn't see who threw it at first. So you don't know, is this the CIA? Is it Vought? Is it, whoever? But then as people bust in, they show these dudes in like black, like body armor, black suits and whatever. I thought initially it was Black Noir.
Oh.
For real.
Okay.
And then when they showed more of them, I'm like, does Black Noir have like a team?
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
And I was just hoping it was because he hasn't done shit throughout the whole show.
Be patient with my boy Black Noir, all right?
I'm thinking, okay, well,
just be patient with him.
Maybe this is it, but it wasn't, obviously. We still don't know exactly who it is because they don't. Assumingly, at this point, you can't see that it says like FBI or CIA or anything like that. But they don't have any logos. It's just completely black suits and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, they haul them away and they take them to some, area to imprison them, and they're screwed. Kimiko is kind of off in some room where they have her drugged because obviously they know she's strong.
Yeah.
And Frenchie and MM, they're just kind of in a cage with a lock on,
Yeah.
So that's kind of sad that the boys did all this work, and while their families are protected, Susan Rayner, she did mention to Billy at the beginning that their families are going to be okay. These guys are screwed. They did all this work, risked their lives, risked their families' lives just to get caught in the end here.
Yep.
So that kind of stinks. But yeah,
it was a wild scene and it happened quickly. Again, I just the worst part was Kimiko for me. It just was sad.
I was very sad for her. I was definitely very sad for her. I wanted her to be able to have that normal life that she, wants, clearly. So hopefully she gets it in the end here. But
now, so while this is happening, Billy and Huey,
they're going for a last ditch effort to figure something out.
Yeah, basically to see what's Homelander's weakness, or like what can they do to like help bring him down.
Right.
And they go to see Grace Mallory.
Yeah.
And you finally get to see her for a little bit, and she is bird watching at the edge of a pretty nice house, and a nice yard, but it's like on the edge of a mountain. And yeah, Billy's there. Well, let's note again, somebody that you see for the first time that's just not happy to see Billy.
Right.
Again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she even says like something along the lines of you promise not to like come find me or
Yeah.
some shit like that.
You promise I'd never see you again or something. Yeah. But he obviously needs to. He's got nothing else. You know what I mean? So he needs something. And she's just like, no, the whole time. Like, I've got nothing for you. Nothing at all. And it's like, it's a weird conversation, but you can see that she kind of used to be the Billy to Billy, you know?
Right.
And he was like the Huey, but then obviously the roles change. He's gotten a little bit darker. She doesn't trust him one bit.
No, not at all. Well, so they go there to find out if Homelander has a weakness or like what their next steps could be, what they can do. And she basically tells him that he doesn't actually have a weakness necessarily, but there's a way to get to him.
Yeah.
And she says that she knows that they have some sort of weird relationship. Like she alludes to the fact that they have like a very odd relationship and says if you can get to Homelander through anybody, it's going to be through her.
Through Madeline.
Right.
Yeah.
So as Billy and Huey are coming back then to meet up with the boys to figure out, okay, well, what's our next steps? Billy realizes that they got caught. Like he drives right past the motel and he was like, whoa, you missed it. And he's like, nah.
We're made.
Yeah, we're made. And he's like, well, how can you tell? He's like, well, the front window's new, you know, this and that, whatever. There's a van over there that says Flowers, probably full of dudes waiting to capture us.
Yeah.
And Huey's just like, well,
what the fuck?
Yeah, we have to rescue them. We've got to help them out.
Yeah.
And Billy has that one track mind.
It pissed me off because he's like, this is our only opportunity to get Homelander. We're doing it.
Right.
Which pissed me off.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, you told all these people that trusted you that you were going to finish things out and do it the right way and that things would be different, and they're not different. He's still being selfish. He's still only thinking about what his goals are, what he wants.
Yep.
Now, he did have a little bit of a good thing in the last episode because he called Susan to be able to bail them out and get their families protected.
Yeah.
But now that they're captured, he's basically just like, well, you know, they knew what they signed up for, which sure they did, but you still go for your boys.
Yeah, 100%. Like you can find a way to get to Homelander later because right now your boys are probably going to die.
Yeah. And actually, I do want to touch back on a conversation that he had earlier in the episode with Susan to try and see like, hey, can we get some sort of help here? This is the first time that I can recall where in the show they actually say the boys, like when he's talking to Susan, he's like, well, what about me and the boys?
Yeah.
So that was just,
was that you're like, oh, there it is moment. Yeah.
But yeah, so Billy's just like, no, we can't help them. We gotta go. And Huey's just like, nah, that's bullshit.
I'm getting out.
Right.
I'm gonna find a way to help them.
Yeah. And they, you know, as he's driving away, Billy's trying to tell him like, hey, like we've got to finish this. And he was like, nope. Huey gets out the car. Billy races off.
Yeah, Billy like rips into him as well. And it's like, dude,
oh yeah,
shut the fuck up. Just go. Yeah. Just go, Billy. You know?
And I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that it turned out the way that it did.
Yeah.
But I guess I was just hoping for more redemption for Billy and hoping that even though if he drove off, you know, that he would come back.
Yeah. And I think
maybe he'd like spin the block and be like, all right, fine. Like, let's figure something out.
This kind of shows you, I think we talked about it maybe last episode, but you had Mallory was kind of the Billy for Billy, how Billy was to Huey.
Yeah.
But then you see Billy go down this path that leads him to like being selfish and I only have a one-track mind. Whereas you can see Huey's development, he's turning into more of a confident person like Billy is and being able to do that.
Yeah.
But he's not turning into Billy.
True.
Which is
a good point.
Which is really nice to see because I think there's a point like in the last episode when he shot Starlight, he ran off with Billy right away.
Right.
You know, it was like, oh, he's just going to end up being Billy's lapdog and turning into Billy possibly down the road. You see here, it's like, no, I have this confidence. I know things I need to get done, but I'm also not going to be so selfish that I'm going to let people die because I'm that selfish.
Yeah.
Especially my friends.
Yeah, because I think Billy has an attachment to Kimiko and MM and Frenchie. Like,
for sure.
They've been through a lot of stuff. And while he isn't necessarily on board with how they do things all the time, he still realizes that they're still people.
Yeah.
And they're worth saving. So I want to circle back. I don't want to go too far into the rest of the stuff there with what happens with Billy and Huey when they split. I want to go now into our buddy Homelander,
dude.
because in the
This guy.
I should say, you're not your buddy, my buddy.
Your buddy.
So in the last episode, we see that he is rallying the troops, so to speak, and now he's going after the boys, but he's also on a little bit of a side quest to figure some things out. He had gone to Dr. Vogelbaum and asked about Becca Butcher. He had gone to Madeline and asked about Becca, and he gets some details, and he realizes some things that happened with Becca, that she was pregnant, that the baby had killed her, that the baby had
died
afterwards
after birth.
And that's the story he'd gotten from Vogelbaum.
Mm-hmm.
And when he goes to see Madeline, they're talking about a few things, one of which is the kind of pseudo promotion
Mm-hmm.
that she's now gotten. And he goes to her, I think it's at the party.
At the party first, yeah.
And he's basically telling her, like, hey, no more secrets between us, and like, let's be open here. And she tells him about things. And I found out here, and maybe I'm understanding it wrong, but Homelander basically tells her, like, hey, like, let's not make moves without informing each other or whatever, right? And he tells her, isn't it kind of weird that the second we needed a terrorist to help our cause, like, one pops up? Doesn't seem like that was planned. And so he admits to her that he was the one that kind of made that happen.
Yep.
Now I'm wondering here, so obviously that's what Madeline wanted, but she wasn't the one putting it into motion necessarily.
No, she had no idea it was happening.
Right. But if she didn't know, was there someone else at Vought that knew?
No.
Was this just purely Homelander?
So I think you want to really look into what your whole point has been this whole season. Does Homelander really need anybody? Does he really need Madeline? So here's where we're at. We have him. He made A-Train go take Compound V all over the world.
Right.
He ran that whole drug deal, you could say, with Compound V. That Vought didn't know anything about it. That is why
Madeline didn't know.
No.
Did someone else know?
That's why A-Train went to Homelander. No, I doubt it. I would highly doubt it. This whole episode kind of gets you to the point where you understand he doesn't need Madeline.
But then, why keep her around? It seems like he's emotionally invested in her.
He's emotionally attached to her. And that was the thing. He's like, no more secrets, right?
Yeah.
So it starts at let's go with the whole Homelander Madeline thing, the whole episode until the end. So they have this conversation there. No more secrets. Okay, I agree. Okay, well, I was running Compound V around the world to create these humans, because the only way we're gonna get into the military is basically we need to be able to fight other superhumans in other countries.
Right.
So that's why he did it. Madeline didn't know. All right. So then after the party, where they end up? Back in Madeline's office, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a thank you for him. Madeline gets on top and rides the bad boy.
Yeah. I mean,
she knows, okay, I'm keeping him in my control here. I'm going to have some sex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do the deed. All right. Which is also hilarious because he like tries to get really into it and she does not let him get into it at all.
Right.
Like he tries to smack the booty. She's like, no.
Yeah.
But anyway, they have sex. He then is laying on her lap.
Right.
Which they always do. And they have a conversation about the Becca thing.
Yeah. He brings it up again to her.
So did you know what happened here, right?
Yes, I do. But before you touch on that, though, in the previous episode, when Madeline is in Susan Rayner's office, she makes that comment like, oh, I hope, whatever you're going to go deal with, everything's okay. Like that made me kind of
think. See, I took that as I'm just being a bitch.
She knows what she's going to go see on this whole terrorist soup thing.
I think you're supposed to think that. I think it was her just being like, I hope everything's okay, because she's mad,
Okay.
I think, but you are supposed to think that. Like, that's supposed to throw you to that side of
right.
Madeline's involved in this. I don't think Madeline was. I personally don't think so.
All right.
And this is not like a future, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. This is all in this episode.
Right.
Because it's kind of showing you Homelander is running the show. And you think he needs Madeline. That's how he feels. He needs Madeline.
Right.
Turns out she needs him.
I think they need each other.
Maybe.
I think he needs her for that emotional support, that emotional connection.
Right. He
obviously now also the sexual connection.
Right. Which he wants that and needs that. I agree. But as when we talk about like the vault stuff, running the vault and being a superhero and all that. But yeah, so he's laying on her lap and it's like talking about the Becca thing again.
Right.
And she goes, yeah, I didn't want to tell you about the miscarriage because I knew it would really hurt you. And you kind of see his face just go into like real straight, like something's off.
Yeah. Well, because she says, oh, your baby died to a miscarriage. Whereas Vogelbaum said that the baby just died
after birth,
ripping out of Becca.
Yeah.
So he, things aren't lining up here.
Right.
With each of these stories.
Yeah.
Which at that point, you're not really, you're not necessarily privy to the fact that Homelander is thinking, okay, so, something else is happening in the background here. I need to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
But
you can tell he's not happy because he can tell she lied.
Right. And he just said to her, like, let's not have any more secrets, whatever.
Yeah.
So that whole interaction now has come to a head here because there's been this sexual tension between them throughout the season, and it finally happens where they have sex. Mind you, dude busts mad quick. I mean, it's like a couple minutes. Not that I should be talking shit.
I don't even know if it was a couple minutes, bro. That was a few seconds. Yeah, it was like 30 seconds.
It might have been. And he I think he even apologized.
He did it. She's like, you did great.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't lie. Like, I've definitely apologized for some premature, things happening.
But it's funny because she didn't care. That wasn't sexual for her. That was her in control. Yeah.
Very transactional, as most of her interactions are with people.
Yeah.
The only time where I thought maybe she had some sort of non-corporate, I'm just focused on my goal interaction with Homelander was when he came and flew to see her when she was taking her baby
right
to the doctor's office or whatever. Like, everything else has always been very, I've planned this, I'm doing this, I'm in control.
There's a reason for it. Yeah. Whereas this is
like that was the only other time where she wasn't in control and had any sort of emotional reaction with him.
Yeah, because she loves her baby.
Right. So let's cut back then to the boys here.
Yeah.
Huey is now thinking, okay, well, if Billy's not going to do anything about saving the crew,
what can I do?
What exactly?
Which isn't much. No offense, Huey.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a regular dude. He doesn't have any training. He doesn't have any sort of, fighting skills or anything like that. But we see he goes back to the site of the motel.
Well, he does go to a church.
Forgot about that. Yes, let's talk.
Yeah, he does go to a church because Starlight's in there because Starlight had her whole conversation with her mom about. Basically, let's just run through it real quick. When I'm thinking deep conversation, the mom admits, yeah, I live vault, put compound V in you.
She knew.
I had to sign, I would never tell anybody. They didn't give any money, but I forget what the reason was behind it. But she would live a better life.
She was gonna, have a good life and be a superstar and this and that, whatever.
Turns out the dad didn't leave. They said her dad left because of
money problem.
Yeah, money problem, gambling issues or something. Yeah. He didn't like it. It turns out he was like, he agreed with it, and then he was like, no, this wasn't right.
Right.
And so he left. So obviously Starlight's all bamboozled and confused.
Yeah, when she's talking with her mom, she's basically like, I can't believe you let them do this to me. My whole life has been a lie. I don't even know who I am or what I'm supposed to be doing anymore.
Yeah. So she leaves her mom and goes to a church to search for answers.
Right. And that's where Huey runs into her then.
He's like, I remember you told me you like to come here, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you've got some nerve, you know?
Right.
Which he does. Like, that's some ballsy shit.
And he's just trying to see, okay, I need to try and help my buddies out.
Yeah.
Because he even says to her, I'm coming to you to ask you, for a favor, for some help. He says, I need some help.
Yeah.
Which is okay, like literally the last time you saw her, your boy was just
Shot her
shooting her with
twice.
50 cal.
Yeah.
2 times.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Starlight, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Right. Yeah. It's a weird thing, but he had to do it because he had no other option.
Yeah. Nothing else he could do.
And it's funny because they're outside and she's like, I'm not effing helping you. They're outside the church talking and she starts to walk away, but then she turns around, why would I help you? So it's like she kind of wants to, even in that moment.
Yeah.
She's trying to figure out
She's
a good
still
reason.
A good person.
Right.
After everything that's going down.
Yeah.
She's still a good person.
Which then he says, you're a superhero.
Right.
You know, because that's who she really is. She's actual, like what an actual superhero would be to save people who are in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
So does he convince her? I don't know.
Not in this moment.
No, she's just like,
Not
whatever.
in this moment.
Yeah.
So Huey goes back to the side of the motel, and it's weird. Like you see him like kind of in the parking lot. He stops right before he's get into the parking lot hotel, and he like sticks his finger in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he like goes like that, like puts his thumb in his mouth. And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
You find out later what it is, but it was just really weird because he does it real fast. And then he starts walking into the parking lot
and just gets tackled.
Yeah, he goes right by the van that Billy warned him about and gets tackled by these guys that were going to capture him.
So he gets captured on purpose.
Right. This is all part of his plan. Is it a good plan?
We'll find out.
Yeah. But we cut then to MM and Frenchie. They're kind of talking in the cell that they're at, and somebody gets brought in. I think, did they have like a bag on his head?
Yeah, they had a bag on Huey's head.
Yeah, so they don't know who's being brought in, but they throw Huey into the cell, and you know, they're just like, oh my gosh, you got caught, and you know, whatever. And Huey's talking, and he's just like, no, I'm here to save you. And Frenchie's just like,
we're fucked.
Well, he says, man, you know, that's such a selfless thing to do, and so nice, you know, but completely useless.
Yeah, and he says it like multiple times in different ways about how it's useless.
Yeah, he's like, it's so nice of you to do that, but you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
essentially. And it's funny because as Huey's talking, he's kind of talking with like a little bit of a lisp.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, what is he? Why is he talking like that? It's weird. Here we find out when he had stuck his finger into his mouth, he had shoved his retainer into his mouth there.
Yeah, because he figured Frenchie would be able to unlock a lock with it, be able to pick a lock with it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you know, I got this retainer. It's got some metal here. You can use it to pick a lock.
And Frenchie's like, you genius, all pumped. But then he can't get it out of his mouth.
Right.
Which is great because Frenchie's trying to pull on it with him and they can't do it. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to punch it out.
Yeah. And he just
socks him. Yeah.
And
it works.
Yeah. Gets the retainer loose. They get out. They're trying to like skulk through this this warehouse facility or whatever, this black site that they're at. And they see Kimiko, and she's in this room where it looks like they've got her hooked up to drugs or something to like keep her sedated.
Yeah.
Because she's not really there. I don't think she's conscious even necessarily. But yeah, they're gonna go try and save her, and that's when security comes in and starts shooting at them then.
Yeah. And fun scene. I mean, Frenchie really wants Kimiko to be saved.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
MM's like, she better be worth it. And MM goes off to fight. I think Frenchie gets shot, doesn't he? Because he can't.
He gets shot like in the shoulder. I think somehow they get a hold of a gun. I don't know if it was because they incapacitated one of the guards or something like that.
They did. So Huey has a gun. He's like, I never shot this before. And he's like, just cover him, just pull the trigger. And he's like, all right.
Right.
So, but he's coming in, he's like screaming sorry as he's shooting the gun and shit like that.
He does kill one guy, or
he shoots at least one. I think he gets a couple.
But MM grabs
Kimiko,
and they're like starting to head out. It seems like
they're surrounded.
They're gonna get out of there, but Huey runs out of bullets. They're there, they're surrounded, and the security comes in and they're screwed.
Yeah.
And I think they even like have them like get on their knees and turn around because they're probably gonna execute.
They had put their hands above their head, but yeah, Frenchie couldn't obviously because of the shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, so they turn around to execute him or whatever. Maybe take him back into the prison. I don't know.
I would think they had him turn around because they were gonna shoot him in the back of the head.
Probably. But
that's my thought anyway.
Then the room gets kind of bright.
Yeah, their day brightens up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they are rescued by none other than Starlight.
And I'm not
gonna lie, this was I don't want to say my favorite scene in the whole episode because a lot of other things happen. A few other
Yeah.
things happen. But when this happened, I was super pumped.
It was cool, yeah.
This was the first time we've really, really seen her fight and like let loose. Like she had that team up with the Deep where she, raided that drug house and whatever. And
Yeah.
we've seen some of her strength and other stuff, but like she was taking these guards out. And a lot of it was kind of like in like slow motion and like lots of effects and stuff. Cause her whole thing. And I realized this after she had talked with the military dude. She's drawing power like from the electricity around her.
Yeah.
That's where she's getting her strength. And so all the lights that are there, she's drawing power from them. They're like sparks flying everywhere. Her eyes are glowing. She's shooting energy beams at people. She's hitting people.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she beats everybody up, saves the day, and you think, oh, all is fine and dandy.
Yeah. They start to leave. I think they even get like
they get to the
out
door.
To the door. And I think like Frenchie and Kimiko are out, MM is out, and Huey's about to roll out, and somebody else shows up.
None other than A-Train, who, by the way, has been got into an argument with his brother,
right?
Because he was out training because he needed to be A-Train again by pulling a literal train, and
he has like a knee brace type thing on. But his brother's like, yo,
how'd you heal so fast?
Yeah, you literally had a broken bone popping out of your skin like yesterday.
Yeah. And he's like,
or a couple days ago.
You're back on the Compound V, aren't you?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this is all me, baby. And it's like, it's obvious.
Yeah.
He's on Compound V.
For sure.
So he's back, and you can even tell right now he's on Compound V.
Yeah, he's sweating, and he's just kind of talking real loud and weird. And he is partially, I think, pumped up because of the Compound V. But then also partially because now he's confronting Huey about everything that happened with Popclaw.
Yeah.
So Huey comes back in.
He's like, I'm not leaving.
He closes
Starlight.
the door. Yeah, he doesn't want to leave Starlight there. She's trying to plead with him to go. MM and Kimiko and Frenchie, they're out. But A-Train is like basically like saying to him, like, what is this? Like, I killed your girlfriend, so now you killed mine. And he was like, I didn't kill your girlfriend.
Right.
And he's like, no, he realizes he's saying, no, I did. But like the chain of events that led up to it is he's blaming Huey for it.
Right. He even says, like, I think it might have been in the last episode or whatever, but he's like, mine was an accident. Yours was all planned out.
Yeah.
Which one's worse?
What you're doing is on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one's worse? And it's like, damn. True.
I mean, they're both pretty bad.
Yeah, but then A-Train was a dick about it afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, because his life's made more important. So anyway, this turns out into a Starlight versus A-Train fight.
Yeah.
What did you think of the fight?
I will say this. I was hoping that it was going to be a little bit better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think A-Train is a cool character that they did pretty well with overall, showcasing his speed and stuff and whatever. But I think this just would have been a cool fight to be a situation where it's like, okay, we can really highlight him here, especially on the Compound V. And essentially, like, Starlight starts to react, but A-Train is
too fast.
She's blasting over here. He zips over that way. She blasts over here. He zips over that way. I don't even know if she can tell where he's at. I think she's just blind firing.
She might be, or like seeing like when he stops for a second or whatever.
Maybe.
What I do like about it is she used her brain. She shoots beams from both her hands and starts closing it in. So if he's coming right at you, he can't go, because he even tries to go left. He can't. He sees a beam. He tries to go right. Can't. There's a beam there, and she's just closing it in on him.
Yeah, they kind of go into super duper slow-mo here.
Yeah.
For this fight, which I get. You have A-Train. He's moving obviously much faster than everything around him. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more like taunting. Like I thought she was gonna be like, and he'd be like, oh, I'm over here.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or I also kind of was hoping it was going to be more of like they'd be trading blows.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
It's difficult. I think speedsters, and I don't want to get into a huge conversation here, are just so OP.
Yeah.
But decent fight overall.
Yeah. Not bad.
But as she's closing the light beams in on him, he gets to her before they close and knocks her back.
Right.
So you're thinking, oh God, she's about to lose here.
Right.
But my man, too much compound V.
Too much compound.
Goes into cardiac arrest.
Yeah, he goes up to Huey. I think this is actually
When they start
arguing.
the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. But he grips him, and like I'm thinking, okay, he's about to kill Huey for sure.
Rip right through him.
Something. I thought he was gonna run him in through a wall or whatever. And as he grabs him and he's arguing with him, that's when he has a heart attack.
Yeah.
Now, given that whole situation, Huey still tries to save him.
Yeah. Huey's like, I don't want another person to die.
Yeah, he starts doing, chest compressions on him. Starlight is like, okay, well, you get out of here. I'll take over. Like, you have to go because he's never going to stop coming after you.
Mhm.
If you resuscitate him, he's just going to go after you again.
Yeah.
So she like hits her little comlink thing,
Beep, boop, beep,
calls
boop.
in the vault, says,
I need an ambulance.
down,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And
That's that.
continues to try and save him.
Yeah.
Whether or not she does,
Find out next season.
yeah, exactly.
But Huey bounces. So dope scene overall. I thought that storyline was crazy.
Yeah.
But
It gets even crazy.
are you ready for some shit?
So
Let's
the last few minutes here.
just quickly paint the picture.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna go way too long if we don't do this. Because the conversation is gonna be crazy. Billy gets to Madeline's house after she comes home from the party.
Right.
She's looking for the housemaid who is knocked out because Billy knocked her out with chloroform or whatever.
Something
Yeah.
to incapacitate.
And he's like, the baby sound sleeper, crazy. But basically he wants to have Madeline trapped so he can get to Homelander because that's the weakness, right?
Right.
So she's wrapped up in C4 and he has the button. So Homelander shows up to obviously save the day.
Yeah, Billy has a dead man switch.
Yeah, if he lets go of it.
Right, yeah. If he lets go of the button, then everybody blows up.
Yeah, so Homelander gets there, and I forgot how intense this was. I kind of forgot he did this, but he grabs the baby first.
Well, so before he does that, he is upstairs in the house.
Yeah.
And you can hear him walking around, and Billy knows he's up there, and he even says to him, he says, I know you can see through the floor, down here, and they're talking, and he's, basically like telling like, come down, let's have a conversation, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he comes down into the room where Madeline and Billy are, and he's holding her baby. And she immediately is like, take him out of here, please.
Take him upstairs. Take him upstairs. Take him upstairs.
I don't want him to be in here. And
over and over again.
Homelander is just like, oh, it's fine.
He's fine. Lays him down in a little crib that's downstairs.
Yeah.
And just nonchalant having a conversation. I love this scene is the most intense scene in any show I've ever watched because the baby's crying in the background.
Yeah.
She's at every random spot in this conversation saying, please just take him upstairs.
Yeah.
Just randomly throughout the whole scene. But he's like, hold on. And starts kind of telling her, shut up at some point. But he goes to Billy and is like, okay, what is your plan here? Like, you want to kill her because I raped Becca, da da da.
Yeah, and he even says to him, he's like, you think I killed her?
Yeah.
Do you know that that's what happened?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any sort of proof that that's what actually went down?
And you kind of see in Billy's face like, shit, I don't.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, so this is just blind, like, craziness.
Right.
And I do love, he's like, you know what? I'm impressed by you. He's like, your heartbeat's racing, but you're not scared.
Yeah.
He's like,
he even says like other people that are like this, they're about to shit their pants when they're in a situation like this with me. But you're good.
Yeah.
You just got adrenaline going, whatever.
Yeah.
And when I first watched it, I'm thinking like, is he really actually impressed with him? Is he genuinely impressed with him? Or is he just saying this to be a dick?
No, he is.
You find out later he definitely is for sure.
Yeah.
But Billy and him are there talking, and he tells Billy, I'm gonna tell you what happened here, and starts to unfold the story.
Yeah, he kind of
goes
is an
to
asshole about it though, because he
Yeah.
says how like he was Becca like enjoyed it or something like that.
Oh yeah, he says that he didn't actually rape her.
Yeah.
That she came on to him, that's just how it is. Girls are always attracted to him. He says, he made her climax 3 times.
Yeah.
It's like, and she loved it.
Which obviously he didn't because he only lasts about 30 seconds. So.
Well, with Madeline, yeah, but who knows?
Yeah.
If they were in that room for 3 hours.
True.
Man, I don't know. But yeah, so he's telling Billy all these details about the encounter that he had with Becca. And the whole time, Madeline, like you said, she's trying to get the baby out of there. And then he comes to her and he's like, now, let's deal with you now.
Yeah.
He's talking with Madeline. And he says, I thought we said
No
no
more
more
secrets. Yeah, no
secrets.
more secrets. Yeah.
And he's just like talking to her and he says, do you I think he says like, do you even like me? Did you ever care about me?
Tell me the truth.
Yeah. And she's just like kind of like holding back and she's like, I've been scared of you.
Yeah. Well, she even like talks about like, well, I need you or something like that. And it's like, you need me for being part of the company or for your promotions or whatever. And then, yeah, he's like, tell me the truth. And she's like, I'm scared of you.
Yeah. And she is genuinely afraid of him. And in this moment, you really see it,
Yeah.
Because she knows that he can do whatever he wants. She knows that they need him more than he needs them.
Yeah.
Or even her.
But he's no longer that emotionally attached because she keeps lying to him.
Right.
It was the emotional attachment, and she knew that was keeping him under control.
Yeah.
And she fucked up.
Yeah, and just to touch back on Billy and Homelander, when he says to him like, "Well, what was your plan coming here?" And he's like, "Were you just going to blow her up and then, think I was attached to this woman, whatever?" Clearly, Homelander is upset with the situation. He's talking to Madeline. He tells her, he says, "I went back to Dr. Vogelbaum."
Yeah.
And he even says this, and I think he was being a little too on the nose here. He says, I was able to squeeze some more information out of him.
Yeah.
But here he says, your stories weren't lining up. He told me one thing, you told me another. You guys really should have,
talked beforehand. Yep.
Yeah. And basically tells Madeline that he knows she's been lying this entire time and keeping things from him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where this was the first thing I was like, what the fuck?
Did this shock you?
He like grabs her and I think, does he kiss her? I think even?
I don't remember if he kisses her. I don't think so.
But he like gets to her face and, it seems like he's just like kind of in her face. Just, I don't remember if he kisses her. I thought he was like going to if he didn't. And he just laser visions right through her fucking
eyeballs. Yep.
And it was just, I'm sitting there just like,
yes.
I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I literally sat there, my mouth open, because he just killed her. And it wasn't like she's still alive. Like you see when he's laser visioning her, she's like she's feeling.
She feels it, yeah.
And I was just totally shocked. I thought she was gonna be kind of the person pulling the strings the entire time.
Yeah.
And she's obviously, dead.
Yeah.
And so he goes to Billy, says, well,
now what?
Right. Now what? And Billy's just like,
yeah.
Fuck it.
Let's go with the remote.
Yeah.
With a baby.
That part, I was just like, what the fuck? So yeah, he lets go of the remote and the whole place blows up.
Yeah.
So Madeline's there dead. Homelander's there. Now she's strapped with C4. She's got tons of C4 on her.
Yeah.
Baby in the room. Billy did not give a shit.
No.
And I'm not going to say that I justify where he's coming from by doing this, but I understand because at this point he's like, well, fuck it. I got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I thought killing her was going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Clearly it wouldn't have because you just fucking killed her.
Yeah. What are you going to do to me?
Yeah.
You're probably not going to just kill me right away. Probably torture or some shit. That baby's not going to live a good life. No. So that's Homelander's kid now, apparently. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So,
and I was shocked because Billy let go of the remote, and I'm thinking, I thought he would have had a little bit of a conscience because that baby was there.
But he didn't.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. That baby being in the room or in the house did not change anything.
No.
And so the house blows up. The screen goes white, completely white, from this explosion. And then they cut to another scene where it's morning. Billy's just kinda
Birds are
laid out,
chirping.
and he kind of wakes up. And I'm not gonna lie,
You thought it was like heaven.
I thought he was either in heaven or something wasn't. I'm thinking, well, maybe
Purgatory.
this was a dream.
Yeah.
He's just waking up after some other event that happened earlier in the show. I'm thinking, why? Okay, clearly he just pulled a trigger with all the C4.
Yeah.
He's either the whole thing happened was a dream or he's in heaven. And he wakes up to none other than Homelander.
God.
I mean, in his eyes, he thinks
yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
But Homelander is basically like, hey man, how's it going? Before you thank me for saving you, which I did,
Does he mention the baby?
no.
Okay, I didn't think
Doesn't
so.
mention the baby at all.
Okay.
Which I don't think Homelander would because
He hated the baby. Yeah.
But he wakes up and he's there and he's like, I saved you, but got something to show you here. And they're like in front of a house. I think he's just on a lawn.
Mm-hmm.
And this door opens up and you see
a little boy
running out, and you see somebody behind them. You just see the bottom half of them. You can tell it's a woman. They got some nice jeans on, little, whatever.
Yeah.
But this little boy runs out, probably, I don't know, 8, 10 years old.
Yeah.
And he is a little blonde boy. And he says, hey, do you know who I am? And the kid's like, of course.
You're Homelander.
Homelander.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. But do you know who I also am?
He's like, no.
I don't know. I'm your father.
Well, what I like is he looks at me like, you didn't tell him, huh? Or something like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then he looks down and he's like, I'm your father.
Right.
Which then
so before that though, when he says I'm your father, the little boy's eyes glow.
Yeah.
Just like Homelander's.
Yeah.
And around the corner you see
Billy looks up and it's Becca walking around and she's in freaking shock.
I think first she was shocked to even see Homelander.
Yeah.
To begin with. Then behind him she sees Billy and she's just like,
what the fuck? Credits.
Show ends.
Crazy.
Yeah. I did not think that he was going to kill Madeline.
No.
And in such gruesome fashion too.
Yeah, that whole scene's incredible. Just how intense he was with her.
Yeah.
Like when she's even saying like, put the baby back upstairs, he's like, shut the fuck up. Like he gets pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he brings Billy to see Becca, who, we are all assuming that she's dead, and she's not. I was just shocked.
Right. And why bring Billy there? And also, isn't it crazy? You don't come in there. He doesn't come in like, oh, hey, I'm Homelander. Nice to meet you, to the kid right away. I'm your father.
Oh yeah. Just gives him the news immediately.
Yeah. Cause he's tired of fucking secrets and lies. He's just like, straight up, I'm going to tell you right now.
But yeah, just very intense episode. Crazy way to finish the first season.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, I was so ready to just continue watching to the next season.
I didn't, but I almost did.
I want to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep the spirit of our show and our format alive as it is.
Yeah.
But just insane, man.
Yeah.
I thought it ended very well. And like I had mentioned earlier, I think if they had ended there, if somehow they weren't greenlit for season 2 at that point or whatever, I think it could have ended okay.
Yeah.
It would have still been open-ended, sure, but it wouldn't have been terrible. Now, let me ask you this.
Answer.
Do you think that the whole explosion at the house, did it affect Homelander at all? Do you think?
No.
I mean, he seemed fine. It didn't seem like he had a scratch on him.
No.
And so I'm thinking, like, if Billy's intent was to go there to kill Madeline, even if Homelander did care about her, and even if Billy was the one to kill her, what would have been his plan after that? He'd have killed her. Homelander would have been pissed.
He had no
plan. He would
plan.
have murdered him.
It was just to get back at Homelander.
Yeah.
It It was a bad plan, to be honest.
Terrible plan.
But it was for him. He thought at least somehow I'd get to Homelander in a way, which he did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you rate the season overall?
Season overall, I'm giving it a 8.8. I'm giving it. You know what? No, I'll push it to an 8.9.
Oh, overall, but you didn't even get a single episode in 8.9. I'll give it an 8.
I don't know, the math doesn't math, but you know, this is it's like, whose line is it anyway?
Yeah. I was gonna say 8.5, but yeah, that's good.
I'm giving it an 8.9.
Great show. Phenomenal season.
I agree, and I'm doing that only based on my expectation for what is to come.
Oh boy.
I have high hopes for where the show will go moving forward.
Yeah.
In that one, we've gone up this roller coaster ride, up and down to these last 2 episodes that just have gone up. And every time I've said it before in previous episodes of the show and the podcast here, every time I think, well, they can't get any crazier.
They do. They still do.
And so I'm thinking they've got way more up their sleeve. If they've made it this far to the point where they've got a 4th season premiering later this year.
Oh, they've got some shit.
Yeah, there has to be just more crazy shit that's going to happen.
Oh. And
I'm excited to see that.
Is there?
I mean, yes, obviously.
We'll find out.
Obviously.
I know.
Yeah. But the other thing I do want to say about that last scene, so Homelander obviously saved Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Homelander thought maybe at least about saving the baby?
Nah, probably not. Maybe for a split second.
You know, because when I watched it and they reveal, you know, the little kid at the end, I'm thinking, well, maybe he would think to save the baby to have another baby, like another child, you know, because then here's my
thing. It ain't his flesh.
In Homelander's head, right? But I'm not saying a baby for him. In Homelander's head, I would have thought if I was Homelander, I'd have been like, you know what? Let me save both of these, because if I really want to stick it to Madeline, like, yes, I've killed her. Terrible.
But I'm going to raise the baby the way I want to.
Not even that. To really stick it to her, I'm going to turn her baby into a soup.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to give that baby the compound V.
That's
wild. What I would have done if I was Homelander.
That would have been wild.
Right?
Maybe. I don't know, man. He's only about himself, so he just wanted to get to see his kid, which is crazy because he could have gone there at any time, but he waited for this whole situation to play out.
Right. Well, he knew, you know, Billy was who he was.
Yeah.
And Homelander, obviously, we're seeing, I think the entire time we knew he's not an idiot.
No.
Right? He's a smart guy, but now we're seeing just how smart he is. And we don't know why, but he saved Billy for a specific reason, a purpose here, obviously.
Right.
So I'm excited to see what that purpose is. Like, why did he save Billy? Is it just to rub things in and be a dick and be like, yo, I actually did fuck your wife. She had my child. She's been alive this whole time. You've been agonizing over this, essentially for nothing. Also, she's been hiding from you. Because this is the other thing. If you're Becca, what's the reason, aside from this baby that you're maybe trying to protect, what's the reason why you haven't gone and reached out to your husband?
Gotta wait for season 2.
I guess we do.
Where questions get answered.
Yeah.
And more questions come along.
So yeah, I'm excited to start the next season next week. I don't have any small screen scoops just because I don't want to. We've already gone a long time. I know you've got one.
Got one good one that I need to do,
and I want you to tell me it. But I do want to just say we're going to continue watching seasons 2 and 3 to prepare for season 4.
Yep.
And
watch Generation V.
We are watching Gen V as well. And I've already worked the math out that if we continue with the type of release schedule that we've been doing, 2 episodes per weekend, for the most part, we might not be able to always do that, but we always try to.
Yeah.
We'll be just in time for season 4.
It's like it was meant to be.
It was.
Yeah.
So what's the scoop that you had?
So I have to give the small screen scoop because it was a Secretary of Defense in the beginning.
Right.
That is Secretary of Defense Robert Singer. Okay.
Did they say his name in the episode?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I just know this. Okay.
Right.
as the same actor who plays a very important character in Supernatural named Bobby Singer. He's he's like their dad, basically. Like their dad's dead in Supernatural, so he plays like the role of father to them, and it's he's a great
Okay.
character. He calls them Idjits. So if you're a Supernatural fan, you know Idjits. But yeah, Jim Beaver is the actor. He's phenomenal. I think he just works with Eric Kripke by a lot. But yeah, it was Bobby Singer in Supernatural, Robert Singer in The Boys.
That's a nice little Easter egg.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
And I do like how Kripke is bringing in other people he's worked with, whether it be actors, directors, writers.
yeah.
You know, some of the people here
We need Jared
the way
Padalecki, bro.
have been involved with the show, and it's worked out.
Mhm.
Obviously.
Yeah, sure. That's all I got.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap things up. We've probably at the longest episode we've had, or if not very close to it.
Yeah, it kind of had to be though.
But yeah, a lot of stuff happened, a lot of exciting things. Very excited for the next season. Come back and see us next week to see the opening to season 2, but also keep an eye out on our other podcast. We are doing a podcast on the live action Netflix adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. 2 episodes in right now. It is bingeable, so if you want to watch the whole thing, go ahead. But every week we're going to be reviewing and talking about one episode of the show.
Yep.
Billy, I think you've already binged it all.
Yes.
I've binged some of it. I haven't gone too far, but keep an eye out. Those episodes are going to be dropping on Fridays. The Boys is always going to be on Sundays. But also let us know what show we should do next. Avatar is only 8 episodes.
Yep.
So we're going to be finishing that up in the next 5 or 6 weeks here. And then we're going to need something else to bring to you guys. So hit us up on Facebook or any of our socials and let us know another show to watch. We're hoping to keep something new and or relative to things right now.
Yeah.
I think we do want to at some point try and touch on some old shows, and we have some ideas of how we can wrap up some old shows, or other shows, I should say. But let us know what else you want to see, and maybe it'll get picked.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for all the support.
Season 1 down.
Season 1 down. Season 1 done. In the books.
As they say.
3 more to go. 2 more to go.
With
3 with the Gen V.
Yeah, and you know what? We also, before season 1 ended, we got to 50 subscribers on YouTube, which was awesome.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
We set for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we made it. We're on our way to more, hopefully.
High five to you guys.
All right. You know what? You're the real heroes.
All right.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Peace.